Friends, I want to help you if you have experienced a troubled or broken relationship. I'm talking about relationships that have basically ended and you're not sure whether to leave the door open or to continue to pursue it. What I'm going to share with you is a broadcast that I did in a private webinar. And the insights that I shared, I thought you would like to hear as well. So please enjoy my somewhat unusual perspective on how to look at relationships that have ended. I hope that it helps you as it has helped me. So let's talk about the two relationships that I wanted to share with you about kind of mending fences. So, two of my oldest friends, my longtime friends that I've known, really like from the age of 8 or 9 or something like that. And we were friends together, all of us. There were maybe four of us, 3 or 4 of us, closer than others. And when all this started back in 2020, and of course, they knew me as a health advocate. I had a channel, I still do, called Living Swell. Actually, I started the YouTube channel, Living Soul with Peggy Hall, but I had a website called Living Swell with Peggy Hall. And I had health products, my youth serum, my handmade organic soap, not made by my hands, but made by somebody else's hands. But I did sell it. It was beautiful and smelled great. And I had different wellness retreats that I ran in person. And then came along all of the shutdowns. And because I had been advocating for health, I was doing these daily videos on Facebook, and I called it PMO, Positive Mental Outlook. Here's your PMO for the day. And I would just give, like, I don't know, a 10-minute pep talk for people who needed to get a pep talk. And it was a lot of fun. And we would talk about all these things. And it was a natural progression for me to go from those pep talks on Facebook that people were watching and tuning in for. And then I had people I thought they would want to hear about. You don't have to worry about this health scare called COVID because it's not as bad as what they're making it out to be. And I didn't even really know what it was because I don't even watch the news or have a TV or anything. I didn't even really know what it was. But I knew when they closed down the state that this was not normal and there was something afoot. So I started doing research on it. And I was just telling people, look, you don't have to live in fear. There have been a lot more flu cases over the year than there was COVID. And we never wore masks for the flu. We never stayed at home. And I thought I was doing a public service. You probably were the same. I thought I was doing a public service for people, trying to, how does the expression go, talk them down off the ledge and say, hey, you don't need to live in fear. It's not as bad as they're making it out to be. And instead of people saying, oh, thank you, Peggy, I'm so glad, what a relief, oh, I'm so glad to know that, they turned on me. People that I had known for years, that had been my clients, my students that had been to these health retreats and wellness retreats, suddenly said, I didn't know what I was talking about. Who was I to give an opinion? And they operated out of fear. They were actually like in a panic. And I got horrible texts from people. Now, I would think that if I had a friend who started saying things that I thought were kind of crazy, I would say, oh, dear friend, tell me more about how you came to that conclusion, because I'm not on board with what you're saying here. Can you tell me how you figured that out? Because this sounds different than what everybody else is saying. Like, why are you saying that? Like, that would be normal, right? That would be a normal response. If someone were to question me, like, I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from, Peggy, because I don't want to get sick and everybody else is telling me to stay home. So why is it you're telling me something so drastically different? Like, wouldn't that be rational and logical and, dare I say, normal? I mean, I got text filled with expletives. So I got these horrible messages from people excoriating me, berating me, not just criticizing me, but it was way overblown. It was irrational, actually, because they weren't rational. They weren't in their rational mind. They were in their fear mind. They were in a panic mode. And instead of lashing out at the government, at the governor, at the child's school, or any of the other oppressors, the true oppressors that wouldn't let you buy food in the grocery store just because you wanted to breathe, instead of lashing out at the oppressors, they lashed out at me and at you. Let me know in a comment if this sounds familiar. If you had loved ones, or maybe just people that you knew or worked with, if they had a similar response. This beautiful tumbler from A Healthy American, Katrina, put all of my sayings on here. And this a lot came from my Living Swell. Action comes before motivation. There's always another way, and I'm going to find it. There's nothing wrong with difficult. Things could turn out better than expected. Friends, that's like, I want to put that on a t-shirt. I love that expression. And it's just something I came up with. And I try to focus on that. Like, things could turn out better than expected. I will figure this out. I will handle whatever comes up. So I love this. If you want to get one, let me know. And she's got an Etsy store, and you can get one of these. I just love it. I'm kind of losing my voice. So I had all these people blasting me on Facebook. I was not on YouTube at the time. And yes, they are unable to accept any other information that is in opposition to what they first believe. Now, this is really powerful, friends, because the evildoers know this. So let me I want to make this part really clear. The first thing that people hear or are exposed to, even if it's proven to be false later, they'll never forget that, and they usually have a bias toward that. Somehow that initial thing that they heard, they are prone to believe it. It's very, very difficult to root that out, which is why these newspapers they'll print things that are wrong, or the newscasters will say, the spellcasters will say things that are wrong, and then later they'll come back and say, oh, that was a mistake. We didn't really mean that. Let's make a correction. Well, first of all, a lot of people never hear the correction. And secondly, the cat's out of the bag, as the expression goes, and that ship has sailed, and people rarely will give as much value or weight to what they hear later, except for people like you who are critical thinkers and can set aside your bias and your initial reactions. A lot of it really has to do, I'll just go back to it. It has to go with fear. Go back to fear. So even though I was trying to dispel the fears, I was trying to calm people down and say, look, it's not that bad. You've had flu before, and nobody wore a mask or anything, and you don't have to close your business. The fear was that they wanted to believe the government, and that the government was going to save them, and that the health officers were going to save them. And if I was telling them not to listen to the government, the authorities, then they were going to be adrift. They were going to be at harm's risk. So that, even though I knew that, it was still difficult for me to deal with the people. So those are just sort of clients and people on Facebook and that kind of thing. When it came to my friends, my close friends, a couple of them didn't really know what I was doing. They kind of did, but they didn't really know. These are like neighbors and things. Some of the neighbors saw my YouTube videos and they're like, oh my gosh, Peggy, I can't believe that's you. So some of the neighbors in my exact neighborhood were grateful. They're like, I knew it. I'm so glad you're talking about it. Nobody else is. And then a couple of neighbors farther away, like that I would walk the dog with and stuff, we would still walk the dog during all of this. They probably stayed 6 feet away. I knew that they were sort of conservative, but you know what? I really don't care. You want to wear a mask, you want to stay 6 feet away, you want to become a human pincushion, do what you want. Just don't tell me what to do. That's all I was asking. So a few people in my immediate area, it was all right. But here, let's go back to my 2 close friends and one that was not that close. They couldn't believe what I was doing. And they said that I was selfish, that I was unwilling to sacrifice, to make a small sacrifice of wearing a mask to keep other people healthy. How dare I minimize what the government was saying and put people at risk by telling them that they could go outside and they didn't have to stay home and they could breathe oxygen. It's so weird. And this is where the bad guys really got in. They got into the churches. And one of my friends, a very strong Catholic, would send me little texts, this is nothing. Think of what Jesus went through. It's like, well, first of all, I'm not Jesus. And secondly, he didn't wear a mask. And thirdly, the Bible says, do not fear their faces and do not veil your face. So I could come back with every Bible verse, there's something about doctors are only for those who are ill. I mean, there's so many Bible verses I could come back with, but the point was, she already fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. So over a period of really maybe just a month or something, the text stopped coming, the communication dropped off. And I heard through another friend that she just thinks I'm off my rocker. And she never really knew me, even though she knew me for 50 plus years. I didn't cut her out of my life. I wasn't the one that did that. In fact, over the time, I sent little birthday greetings and memories that would pop up on my phone and so forth. And, I'd either get no response or a little thumbs up, no interaction whatsoever. So there's another part to this story that I'll get to. So the other friend that I had the same amount of time, we were all on the swim team together, gymnastics and all of that as children, as young, like 8, 9 years old and on up, and still, friends up. Well, I'm still friends with her up until now. And she got vaccinated. She wore a mask. She did all the stuff. And she never held anything against me. In fact, she said, I'm really learning a lot from you, but I'm a babysitter and I would feel horrible if I got the children sick. And that's why I'm wearing a mask. So what am I going to say? Fine. As long as you're not putting the mask on the children, it's like you do what you want to do. And we have never allowed the fake, phony, fraudulent, cooties, hogwash to ever come between us, even though we are on different, we're standing and looking at things differently. And I'm not going to begrudge her opinion either. That's her opinion. That's what she has concluded based on whatever evidence she found and information that she was exposed to. What? I love her. I'm never not going to. I always want her in my life and I always want to be in her life. And we just spent a couple of amazing days together. We were able to have conversations and it's incredible. So she's open to the information. She didn't shut me out. I didn't shut her out. And it's a gift. She's like my oldest, longest friend, because the other oldest, longest friend, the same thing. Just I've had a couple friends completely. And I'm talking about friends that I've known, like this one in particular, I knew since kindergarten. And we always exchanged birthday gifts and all of that. And she was the one who said, thank God for Dr. Fauci to tell us what to do. And when the vaccines first came available, she said, we're on a list, because she's a university professor. Draw your own conclusions. And, are you going to get one? And I said, oh gosh, no, my body does not tolerate that at all. I don't participate in that. I never heard from her again. There was no, oh, really? What happened? Tell me more. What happened? There was no conversation. There was no follow-up. And the same thing, I sent her like a little birthday card, never heard from her again after over 50 years. Here's what I want to say. We can't make people understand us. We can't make someone be in a relationship with us. But we can, here's what we can do. We can leave the door open. I still send little birthday notes. I still say, Happy New Year, kind of like I used to. And I'll just send like a little meme or something, nothing too deep, just kind of, hey, thinking of you. Or if a picture memory shows up on my phone, I'll send it to him and say, hey, this popped up today. Often there's no reply. Often there's just like a little thumbs up or something. And it's like, you know what? I have the door open. I've seen people in my family hold grudges, like my extended, they're no longer with us, aunts and uncles and so forth. It's like you lived your whole life. Not just like, I feel like you could maybe have healthy boundaries and you don't interact with the person. That's different than holding a grudge. So if you may be in a situation where your way of life is much better not being in contact with certain family members that you intentionally decided, or friends or whoever, and you decided this is not a healthy relationship for me. That's much different than holding a grudge where the grudge eats away at you. Because there is someone in my extended family, one for sure, maybe two, where we had a little awkward thing. These aren't people that I'm related to, but kind of just extended. And I don't anticipate I'm ever really going to have any interaction with them again. And you know what? That's fine. Here's the other thing I want to say. Those relationships are now complete. That's different than those are failed. They're broken. No, not at all. The friend that I had from kindergarten, that relationship is complete now. We've completed it. It's done. It's run its course. And it doesn't take away from all of the great times that we had in the past. It doesn't take away from all the memories and experiences and support. All of that's still there. I can still look back and remember those amazing times we had. So just because a relationship is complete doesn't mean everything else goes away and everything, it negates everything else. Don't let that happen. You can still hang on to the good things. Now, if somebody betrayed you, they cheated on you, they hurt you, that's very difficult. That's where prayer and, letting God forgive for you, because that's very, very difficult. This is not a program on forgiveness. We have done that in the past, but this is about acknowledging that some relationships are completed. You don't have to say, oh, they're broken. It's just that ran its course, and I'm glad that we had that time together. So I definitely have a couple of those that are just done. They're complete. I took it to where I could, and I'm leaving the door open, and maybe someone will walk through that door one day. And then here is my other friend. We see things differently. We see a lot of things similarly, and certain things we see differently. So that's my encouragement for you this evening, friends, is remember that you can't make people understand you. And in certain ways, that's to your credit. It means that you are you've developed your mind and your perspective and your ability to read between the lies, as I say it, to come to conclusions based on evidence and facts and reality and clues. It's like, that's something to celebrate. It's okay if they aren't keeping up with you. It's okay if they want to stay back where they are. You don't have to apologize for that at all. I make it sound like it's really easy. It's not. As I say, it still stings a little bit when I hear that people get me wrong and they think I'm, doing something that I'm not really doing. It's like, let me set the record straight. I just have that in my personality that, I want to be right. I want to make sure nobody has gotten me wrong, that who I am and what I am is what they actually are seeing. So yeah, I think that has value, but I don't lose sleep over it. I just work through it. I do things like this, like make the videos and talk about it with other people and go, yeah, it's okay. It's okay for people to be wrong about me. I can't fix their opinion. I have no idea what they're actually even thinking. They may say something that may not even be what they really think. And who knows, maybe these other friends that are no longer interacting with me, maybe they think about me. Maybe they look forward to the day that we will get back together. And if we don't, we don't. That's okay. I hope this is encouraging to your friends. I hope that you can take away a couple of things. Number one, it's okay if people don't understand you. Nobody really can understand you when it comes right down to it. Only you can understand yourself. It's really true when you think about it, because you are you, and God understands you, and that he loves you and created you in all your ways. And so it's like, what, that's something that I can rely on as well. And I would also say, draw closer to those who care about you, who appreciate what you're doing. Don't seek the appreciation and validation from them, but it's okay to accept it. So it's okay if people don't understand you. Don't seek your validation from other people. Get it from yourself. Get it from the Lord. Do draw closer to those who care about you and that want the best for you, and that you care about them and want the best for them. And then the biggest thing, last two things, biggest thing whatsoever. Some relationships are just completed. There was no more to go on. It already ran its course in a good way. It's something to be happy about, that you had that. Imagine if you hadn't have had it. Maybe some of you wish you hadn't with certain people, but by and large, I'm talking about these good relationships we had that we kind of mourn. And I would say it is important to kind of grieve that, like, wow, oh, it was good, well, now I have new friends to make. And then finally leave the door open. I have not closed the door on anybody. I did not close the door. I don't even close the door on Bob Kennedy. He could repent of his wrongdoing and say, you know what, I did try to pull one over on you guys, but I'm sorry I did. So I always leave the door open. All right, friends. Thank you. Inez said, I don't even understand me. That is perfect. I want to leave on that comment. That is just the best. It's so true. And so let's not put all of that importance on that. And trust me, friends, everything that I teach you is what I need to hear. These are lessons that I'm learning, and that's why I want to share it with you, so we can all grow together and support each other. How awesome is it that we have this get together where we can chat with like-minded people and say, oh my gosh, maybe the rest of my family is cray-cray, but I'm on, I'm on the right side of things. So that's why I love the YouTube channel also, because trust me, as I say, I have a lot of friends and family who they don't really even know what I do, and they don't really care. And if they do, they don't really see things the way I do. So that's why our community is so great, that we can support each other and let each other know that, no, we're not crazy. I see things the way that you do, more or less. So thank you, everybody, for being on board.